So it seems, okay, it doesn't seem, but it seems that for me at least, there comes a point where I can no longer do something. I put that kind of weird. That came out kind of weird. There comes a point where I can basically know what I want to say is there comes a point where I just can't do my job anymore. And I want to differentiate between not wanting to do it and can't do it. And I don't mean can't by so much not having the ability to do it. It's more that where my stomach can't take it. I can't stomach and I almost feel like I get sick and just, and I get to a point. That's not wanting to do it. There's a difference between, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It comes to a point where I can't. I just physically can't walk in the building. And that might be my arrogance. That might be my spoiledness. That might be this or that. Because I've very rarely been in a position where I had to suck it up to the point to go beyond any kind of issue or problem or deterrence or whatever I had with myself. I mean, some people, if your kids and your family depending on you to provide for them, you are pushed at another level to where you pretty much you can't just say no. You just can't, you got to do it. You got to do it. You just got to go through it, even if it means killing you. And sometimes it probably could, the stress and just the grind over time of just doing something that you really don't want to do, something that's fundamentally not against your beliefs or anything. It just gets to a point where I just can't do it. I'm just like sick and tired of it. And I'm probably spoiled or probably soft or privileged or just not used to having to suck it up and do something like that. I can imagine people, I don't want to say in the ghetto or in the hood or living in poverty to where there's certain things you just got to do to feed your family. There's no stopping. There's no, I can't, there's no, I can't. You can't not, you have to. And, hold on. I'm still doing the job, but I will notice too, I'm still doing the job, but I will also notice that I'm slipping. I'm definitely slipping because my mind isn't there. I probably shouldn't be telling everybody this, but my mind just isn't there. And it's beyond just not wanting to do it. It's beyond just not wanting to do it. Sometimes I get to a point where I can't do it. I physically just can't do it. And I can push myself and I can fight up against it, but I can see myself making mistakes I've never made. Things just become so hard. It's not that my stomach starts to hurt or anything, but one time I was working at JPL. That was my dream job, but it was such a bad situation that I, get there and I literally, as soon as I put my hand on the door, I could just feel my whole body and I just, and it may be arrogance, it may be ego, it may be me thinking I'm invincible, blah, 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 but I'll walk away from it. I will walk away from it. This is the best job I ever had in my life. But it gets to a point where, I'm like, oh. I'm just, I'm just like, oh. And I'm still doing it, I guess the indication was, remember I was saying how I was bragging about working a full week and it was such a big deal? Oh, look, I worked a full week. Oh, I worked a full week. Now I understand why. Just the fact that I worked a full week. Just because I worked a full week at work, I should get celebrated. Now I understand why working that full week is just so monumental. Maybe now that I understand why that working that full week is just so like an achievement. It felt like a grand achievement. But hold on, let me do work. And don't get me wrong, I still want to provide quality work. I do still have a level of integrity. The stuff I do, I want Jeffery Mitchell's name goes on. It's just gonna have to be at a certain level. Even though I have I don't give a damn, you can kiss my ass attitude, there is still something about me that's not gonna let me, basically, if I'm gonna get up, come in here, turn the computer on, and just not do no work. I just not do no. Now my work, I may bring it way, 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 way down, but I'm just not gonna come here and just abuse the system, completely abuse the system. I can't do that. That's where my kiss my ass and my arrogance comes, to where I'll be like, I'm done. I'm walking away. I'm not even gonna I don't even want to be in that situation to where I can be questioned, because I know I'm quote unquote wrong. I know I'm not in the justified. It can't be justified for me to come in here and just not work and just collect a paycheck and hide and do this. And that's just not the way I operate. Because like I say, I will cheat, but I won't lie. So if I get caught cheating, you ask me straight up, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Yep, I did it. Boop, 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 got me. But it's just not for me to come in here. And there's probably ways I could come in here and not work, just do stuff to where I'm just not working. But that's just not my style. And even now, as I'm doing work, I want to make sure it's done right. And because I respect the company, I respect the position still, even though my body physically regurgitates every time. No, I'm just going too far. My body, I'm overdoing it, but it's something like that. It just gets to the point where, oh. All right, I just want to say that. Okay, and to add to it, there was a time where I would wake up and could not wait to get to work. Now, I don't want to contrast that with this to make it like, something major has changed, or I'm not trying to sound like I'm pointing fingers or just, blah, 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 blah. It's just that there was an example, there was a time where I would just be excited to go to work, excited to get in there and do it, and just be dun 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 dun. I'm going to work, and not necessarily to do the work, not necessarily to, perform the job function, but just to be a part of it, I guess. I got a lot out of it to it would energize me. I would be energized by it, instead of just like, oh God. And I started to mess with some music over there. That kind of got me excited a little bit. And I was like, because I listen to the music that I've made and evolved to create, and I'm like, I'm pretty good. It looks like I'm doing okay. I mean, and what I wanted to say was, at the worst, I'm making music that I appreciate. I'm making music that I can appreciate. And there was a time I didn't always do that. I think the music is good, basically. I just want to say that. I think it's good. And, I think it's good. And, all right, I got to do something. See, I got to do something. See, I can't do this and do this because the job, I still have respect for the job, and I still have to get it done right. Hold on. See, like right now, I'm getting excited because I'm doing something that I haven't done before. I have to try to figure something out. I escalated a ticket to our exchange email team, and he sent it back. He said, "Do this." So now I'm trying to go do this. I never did it before. I put myself in, queue management. That means I won't get any calls. I won't get any emails, and I can actually focus and concentrate on something. And I think that is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, because usually it'd be off to the next one, off to the next one, off to the next one, I mean, I would spend maybe 3 minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes on each call or each instance of what I'm working on. To be able to quote unquote stop and actually kind of focus or just have my attention on something for longer than 10 or 15 minutes, it feels good. And also, I think with that, what I'm going through right now is the pressure to go to the next one, I cut it off. I said, I'm done. No, I can't do that. The pressure that I would put on myself to get to that next one, get to the next one, get the ticket closed, get to the next one. I just I push that to the side. I push that to the side. Hold on, I gotta concentrate again. We gotta figure this out. I gotta figure something out. And I enjoy figuring this out. I gotta figure something out right now that I've never done before, and it's not working, which is exciting because I've tried this way, try that way, and I'm just taking my time. I'm not worried about the next call. I'm not worried about being in the queue. I'm not worried about how long I spend on this email, because you spend on the email, or how long you're in queue management, how long you're not actively taking calls or closing tickets counts, quote unquote, against you in your performance review. And our performance reviews haven't really been coming. We haven't been getting them. I used to hang my hat on that performance review being like the first one, being like the best analyst in our group, having those numbers. And I would just, hone myself. That was my motivation. We stopped getting those for whatever reason because the system changed and it was hard to generate the reports. So there's no comparison of me versus other people. And of course, you can say that probably shouldn't matter, but to me it does, because I'm competitive. I'm very competitive. And if that's what it needs to move me to be the best, I ended up being the best in the department based on that. Not because of the goodness of my heart or I wanted to help anybody, not even that I wanted to make money. I just wanted to be the best. You set the criteria, I evaluate the criteria, and I figured out a way to execute that criteria to the best of my ability, and hopefully better than anybody else. So now I gotta let that go. I gotta let that go and quote unquote protect myself. I call it protecting myself. Anyway, let me do this. All right, I'm gonna tell you how it goes in Jeffery Scott Mitchell's life. Jeffery Scott Mitchell's life. I just got through making a video where I went on for about 10 minutes about how I'm not satisfied at the job and position I'm in, and how hard it is for me to make myself go to work. And I thought about jobs I hadn't had before, and blah, 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 blah. Between the time I made that video and now, I received an email which contained my performance review for January. I received a performance email which contained my performance review for January. Also, I knew that I'll be having a one-on-one meeting with my boss at 5:00. So I get the email. I opened it up, knowing what kind of attitude I had already had, or, where I was at, filling it out, getting ready for whatever I was getting prepared for, understanding, the way I've been treating things and looking at things, just preparing myself. I opened that damn thing. I think y'all can pretty much figure out that Black Boy did okay in January. This kind of angered me more. This kind of angered me more. It's not that I want out, but I may have wanted all the arrows to point to me getting out. And I get this performance report for January at 95%. Those extracurriculars take me up to like 111%. This is probably, if not the top performance in our department, the top, if one of the top 2 or 3. I asked my supervisor to see if she'd rank, because we used to be able to rank them. We used to actually, when we get this one pager, it's called a one pager. In the email, the one pager would be attached as a PDF file. But on the email of that, it would show everybody's performance, but it wouldn't have their names. It'd have columns of everybody's performance. You just got to look at that number, see that, that 95 there, and find it where it ranked in the list, and you would know, exactly how you did amongst your colleagues. Oh, I didn't know I cut that one off. So at first I looked at it and I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. 95%. It must be something wrong. It can't be right. It can't be right. Not with my attitude. The way I'm going, and I'm doing this kind of work. And I'm not even motivated to be into it. But January, I was kind of into it. February is the one we really want to see. February was when I really took my foot off the gas and started to protect myself. And after, and then, me and my boss talked about this, and, I told her everything. I just spilled it all. I just, everything from thinking about retirement to thinking I can't do this anymore, blah, blah. And just like I said in the previous one of the videos, I knew as soon as I told somebody they were going to reach out, they were going to try to help me. They would have an answer. She told me about HR. She told me about, we got some services that we can get some time off if you're burnt out. She even used the word about it. She said, you sound like you're burnt out. I was like, that's the word I use. And I knew they'd be there. I just knew, the support would be there. And, and then afterwards, she sent me a link to something that may be available in another department or something like that. Just, it's just the best job I ever had in my life by far. But I told her, this is about me figuring out what I want to do. Once I figure out what I want to do, the rest of the world is easy. The hardest part is being, that exceptional in everything. It's not easy being Jeffery, even though I love it. No, I wouldn't say it's easy being Jeffery, because there's some responsibility that I put on myself. I love being Jeffery. I don't love Jeffery. There's a difference between being Jeffery and loving Jeffery. Hold up, she just sent me something else. Oh my gosh, she talking about get my resume ready and get ready. She gonna let the Career Navigator team do something, and she gonna let so-and-so know, and this and no, and things is moving already. Now I'm like, hey, hold up, slow down. And I'm like, slow down. I ain't ready to move yet. This life, I'm telling you, is this life being Jeffery. I'm telling you, I'm just trying to tell you, I'm just trying to explain to you. Just being exceptional at everything. And whether I am or not. Again, whether I am exceptional at everything or not, thinking or believing or have an inherent, almost subconscious understanding that I am exceptional, walking around thinking I'm exceptional at everything. And that things will always go my way. Once I figure out what I want. And I need to figure out what I want. I always need to figure out what I want, then I just go get it. Or things fall in place. So now I got to start working on my resume. I got to start making that move. And I feel good. I'm energized. Let's look at that 95% again. But we got to be honest, we got to look at February. Because back in January, I was still kind of, I was going after it. I got to fix my resume. I haven't did my resume in 10 years. And talked to Career Navigator and just, I told y'all, once I talked to somebody, they was going to, get it, they was going to step up and get it done. It's the best job I ever had. And then for me to be complaining, quote unquote complaining, and talking about, I can't do this no more. I'm making more money than I ever had in my life, more vacation, more benefits, more everything, most professional environment, most prestigious company, on and on and on and on and on and on. It felt kind of petty for me to be complaining, but I really wasn't complaining. I don't think I was running around going, It was more of an internal discussion with myself that came out as a complaint, which I used to identify things that I need to correct. That's how I use things. I find out things I need to correct by complaining. So we'll see. Get another job, go to another department, get off the phones. Either way, I got to start working on my resume, and I feel good already. It just feels good. I love this company so much and the people in it. It's just flat out ridiculous. And to a degree, I know that I've earned this. I've earned this from just being Jeffery throughout the years and the energy I've put out there. The energy I've put out there and the relationships that I've made or maintained, or relationships that happen because of me being me and being around people and people getting to know me, blah, blah, blah. I know all this, it works together. It all works together. So when Jeffery needs something, all that energy he put out there, they remember Jeffery. Oh yeah, Jeffery this, Jeffery was like this. When I met Jeffery, I thought this, Jeffrey's this way, blah, 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 blah. That's how you get back. Whatever that is, whatever they think about you, whatever it is they think about you, or how people think about you in general, it's gonna definitely reflect on what kind of reward or support you get on the peripheral. I'm not kind of like your family and stuff is going to be there to a degree, whether they can't stand you or not. They tell you, you know how family is. They're going to be there to support you. They're going to hit you in the head and help you. But when you kind of need that extra peripheral, something to happen, something just a little bit farther outside of your immediate scope of influence. Or maybe the energy that I go around putting out increases my scope of influence. Maybe my scope of influence is bigger than I think it is. Now that could be it. Maybe my scope of influence is bigger than I think it is, in a quote unquote positive way, or whatever, attractive way, where people are attracted to me and say, oh, his personality, he's got good energy, like that. And then so when I go out and say, hey, can anybody, oh, that's Jeffrey, yeah. I'm going too far deep into it. But I'm looking into I guess I'm exploring what it is when I need, not assistance or help, but, how the world reacts to me, how the world reacts to these little petty issues that I have, and how I may or may not be accommodated or spoiled or just used to having things a certain way, and expecting things to, expecting to be exceptional at everything I do, and expecting the universe and the world to respond to me and my energy because of my past experience of going through life. I don't know any other way. I don't know any other way. And that's one of the reasons why I love being Jeffery. That's why I love being Jeffery. And I think I can remember actually working on this stuff, almost like scheming years ago. If I act this way and I'm able to get to carry an aura around me or carry energy around me where people quote unquote like me or think I'm funny. I used to always make jokes. It was always funny where, people not gravitate to me or, think I'm attractive, be attracted to my energy, and it's a self-perpetuating reward. The more I do it, the more it will come back to me, the bigger I felt about it. So when I go places, I'm just used to like, hey, I'm here. Jeffrey's here. How did I end up going down the street? Okay, let's go back to where we were. Yeah, so now, things, we'll see how it plays out. We'll just see how it plays out. Let's just say that. We'll just see how it plays out. And I'm pretty sure I'll be here letting you know.